What's up, survivors? I'm NaturalBorn, and in today's video we're going to be doing a base building tutorial for the floating base. Now, before we get into the video, there's a few fundamentals that we need to look at first. And the first is, what defines a floating base? Now, I've set up a few examples here. As you guys can see, we have the wooden fence, the farm fence, and the iron fence. Now, these all give the illusion that they are floating, but the game actually registers them as full blocks. Now, the thing with all of these examples here is there's only one set of blocks that are truly beneficial to use for a floating base. But we'll start by looking at these examples first. Now, as you can see, there's nothing in between them. But with these, we cannot walk through them. Now, we can crawl through them, but we don't want zombies running into them and getting stuck on the sides. Same with here, we have an iron grate, and we have an upgraded iron grate. Now, it looks like you'd be able to run through these ones, but you can't run through these either. You have to crouch to get through. Same with here, we have the wooden poles, and we have all of the different quarter blocks. Now, they all have the effect that they're floating. I think we can crawl through the poles, but we can't crawl through these ones. So all of these floating blocks here, they may be able to be used for base defense, but I would not recommend using them to create your floating base. Now, there's one block to use, and that is the plates. As you can see here, we have one of each type of plate in the game, and we can walk right under these with no issues at all. We can even run under it if we want to. Now, this is what you want for your base, so that way when zombies come running through, they're not going to get stuck on it and start trying to hit it. They're going to be able to pass straight through. Now, ferals obviously will not be able to run underneath these, but as long as you have a good enough gap in between each plate, then they'll pretty much just move around it to get right under you. So as you can see here, we have our sign, and we have a gap of probably 5, I'd say. Oh no, this one's a lot larger. I wouldn't recommend leaving such a large gap if you're building a base above it. But as you can see here, the sign just sits on top of it, no issues at all. Zombies were to run, obviously they're not going to focus on these, they're going to try go for your character. But without further ado, we're going to get into the video. Alright, so you want to start by placing a block down. First, we're going to mark out the floor for where we're going to be placing our plates. Now, you can go any distance. It all depends on how much you plan on building on top of your base. For this video, we're going to leave a gap of 4. So we're just going to count out 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to do the same on each side. Alright, now that we have all of our frames placed down, now for the fun part. We're going to dig up all of the ground that is underneath these frames in a square. Now, you don't have to do this, but I do highly recommend doing it, or at least the block underneath the frame, because your plates will be placed on top of this, and that is going to provide structural support to them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dig out this entire area, and then I'll bring you back once that's finished. Alright, now that we have our foundation dug out of 11 by 11, we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill it up with solid blocks. Now, you can use any block that you want, but as always, I recommend you to use the best block that's available to you. Alright, now that we have our foundation in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to mark out each of these blocks again with our frames. Now, this part isn't necessary, but it is going to make it a lot easier for when you're placing your plates down. And remember to leave a space of 4 blocks in between each. Depending on what you plan on building on top of your base, you could probably go a little bit wider. But as always, you've got to bear in mind about structural integrity. The more blocks you place up there, the more weight that's going to be put onto these pillars. So to be safe, we're going to leave a space of 4 in between each. And then boom, back there. Alright, so there's a wee trick to placing these plates down. So we're going to start in this corner. We're going to place our first plate down. Now I recommend to have some frames on your character, and what you do is you rotate until the plate is sitting up the top, just like that. Now, as you can see, we can run under this plate. Now to keep this going up, you want to place down another frame, place down another plate, and then continue this method until you reach your desired height. Something else I would recommend to do while doing this is to probably carry some splints on your character, because you'd be amazed how many times you fall down. Now for the purpose of this video, we're just going to go 3 spaces high, and then once we reach this desired height, we're going to place down a solid block. Now you can place down more plates. What we're going to do is in between these blocks is we're going to have iron bars, so we're able to shoot down and through them. You don't have to have iron bars. You could have solid blocks the whole way across. You could even build yourself a base up the top. I'm not too sure how cop zombies interact with this. I don't know if you were hiding up there, if they'd sit down here and spew at you. I presume if they couldn't see you, then they probably wouldn't. And they'd all probably just run around down here. But yeah, guys, so we'll do another one. As I said, you place your plate down. Get yourself a frame. You want to rotate this until it's up the top. Now, I've never actually used one of these as a horde base before. I do plan on building one as a horde base in my Let's Play. So if you want to see that, make sure to check out that playlist. So we have 2 of these towers up for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put all of these other ones up, and then I'll bring you back once they're all done. Alright, now that we have all of our support pillars in, you should be left with something looking like this. Now there's 2 ways that you can go about it from here. You can either place solid blocks in between, and as I mentioned, build your base up there, or you can use iron bars. And with iron bars, what you're able to do is shoot through them. So zombies should technically run in here. They'll be running around because you're up there, and you'll be able to shoot through and gun them all down. So what we're going to do is see if we can reach it from here. No, we're going to have to use a couple of frames to get ourselves a bit higher. Now, you can also use iron grates for this, but iron bars work just fine as well. And now what you pretty much want to do is you want to get as many down as you can before you have to jump down and set up some more frames somewhere else. Oh, and try not to make any misplacements like that, because that's definitely going to hurt you in survival. So I'm going to continue placing down all of these bars, and I'm going to have to get rid of this one here. Now, as an example, I've left these 2 areas open here. Now, the reason why is if you plan on using explosives in a base like this, so say you plan on using your rocket launcher, or maybe dynamite or pipe bombs, then you cannot shoot or throw these things through iron bars. You will have to leave an area open where you can throw them through. Trust me, guys, you don't want to take your rocket launcher and try shoot through some bars. I've done that, and I'll tell you now, it does not work. So yeah, your options are, you can cover the whole thing up like this. You can shoot your guns and your bows through here, or you can leave certain areas open that you can throw explosives through. For the purpose of this video, though, we're going to cover up these 2 holes. You can even have a smaller hole like this one here, which is more what I'd recommend. Then that way you can get a good angle, because no doubt they will be somewhere near the middle, and you can throw all your explosives through there. But now that we have this top part pretty much finished, that leaves us to a way up. Now, there is a few different ways you can go about this. You could make yourself a ramp with a drawbridge. You could make yourself an elevator, but we're going to go for the easiest of all of the methods, and that is going to be a separate pole with a ladder, And we're going to have some iron bars that branch across so we can climb up that ladder to get on top of our base. Another thing too is you could place some storage down up here if you wanted to. And like I said, all of these blocks do not have to be iron. You could expand this base as far as you want. You could branch these pillars out, and you could have your base on the outside of it, like an outer ring, and then you could come into the middle to fight your hordes. Or you could have some of these blocks solid, and you could build yourself a wee base in the middle, or you could have the whole platform solid. But for now, we're going to work on getting a way up here. Oh, and don't jump off, guys. That's one of the reasons that I mentioned that it could be good to keep some splints on your character. Alright, so I would recommend branching out at least, go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to leave a nice big gap of 5 in between this one, because we don't want zombies focusing on this area. We want them coming over to our character, and we want them to be able to get to us as easy as possible. So we're only going to have one layer of blocks that go up from here. We need to go one more maybe. Yeah, one more. Oh, that was too much, wasn't it? No, that looks about perfect. All right. So next thing you want to do is you want to take your ladders. Start placing these up here. Perfect. And now, we need to get back down. We need to link these two up with some bars. Right, we're actually going to do a couple of rows of bars here. One, because we don't want to risk our character falling off. But two, is we're actually going to build, if I can, get up the ladder. We're going to build a wee circle around here. The reason that we're doing this is just in case a spider zombie climbs up the side of this, I'm not actually going to be able to get up the top with our character. Alright, this should make it a bit easier. Oh, let us place, so we want one there. One there, and we also need one right on the edge. So we'll see if we can do this from here. Perfect. Alright, and that there's going to stop spider zombies coming up the sides. Now, you could leave this exposed. Zombies aren't going to be able to climb up there. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to fences. Actually, I have them here in my inventory. I do want to show you, though, that out of the creative menu, that you can craft these. So if we go fence, wood farm fence. This is the fence that you're aiming for. Now, zombies can break these fences, but they seem to have a very tough time doing it. They usually run into the side of it, and then they get stuck there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves a wee area that's protected here. Place this on that side. And obviously, spider zombies will be able to climb over this too. But for the meantime, what's going to happen is zombies will run into this. They can't do anything. They'll make their way around and they'll get into here. The main reason that you want to put this part up here is so if you have zombies chasing you, you can run, you can jump in, and then you're straight up the top. And then they're all just going to path around it and make their way under you. And yeah, as I mentioned, you could also have a ramp with a drawbridge. So you could drive your mini bike up here if you wanted to. You could have an elevator for a quick and easy way up and down. But the ladder definitely works the best. And on top of that, you could also nerd pole up with your frames. But yeah guys, that pretty much sums up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed the video and learned something new. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more console content. But as always, stay safe out there, survivors, and I'll see you in the next one.